After cannabis was legalised in Thailand, business boomed. With thousands of cannabis stalls popping up in tourist areas, it represented hopes.
Well, in various videos, we've had a very fruitful discussion on the criminalization and decriminalization of cannabis that's been going on in the United States. And we've said that, and this is coming from a New Yorker, you know, how the horrible mismanagement, I mean, it's just here, it has been just a total, utter failure of a rollout. And I believe that there are lawsuits coming. There are going to be lawsuits coming very soon due to the fact that basically some of the rules that were launched, that were supposed to be launched with this legalization, are not being followed by the state, by the actual state body that put this into effect. And not only they're talking about that, is, you know, the crime that has been going on around this, the illegal smoke shops that have just cropped up like insane now, and they're selling everything, including edibles, untaxed cigarettes, which that's illegal, vaping devices that are illegal in the state of New York, and many other things. And then, of course, you know, the situations now that we're having that basically a lot of the cannabis that's being sold out there is illegal because it's not being distributed the way it's supposed to be. You have to remember that there are issues with a lot of the illegal cannabis because of the things that they're sprinkling into it, including fentanyl and a couple of other things. And we've seen the results in cities like New York, it's been increasing on that, in Philadelphia, Seattle, and San Francisco. We have people, you know, in a zombie look to the situation on there. And we have a lot of more stories that are rolling out, including a activist that's been fired from the state of New York for advocating for veterans to get licenses over felons. I believe it's her. She's been fired on there. And then, of course, there's a report out now that smoking marijuana while you're pregnant, it can be a danger. But here's the big one. This is the big one that's going to hold you guys off through the holiday weekend. A lot of the cannabis that's being grown here, which we're finding out that China is involved. China's, you know, growing cannabis in the United States, is being funneled into other countries. How's that one? Normally we're worried about the drugs that come crawling across the Mexican border on there, but now there's drugs being funneled back out to other countries. But before we read into this on this article out of Al Jazeera, I just want to thank those of you. We're well over should be about 720 right about now. Let's say 720. We're gaining fast. You've noticed we've done a couple of shorts. We do the shorts to put out quick stories that are out there on there that basically that wouldn't encompass a whole video, but we could just throw out the information out there to you, which is a help to us. And also, it invites new viewers into our channel. Once again, I want to thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing. Hopefully today's the day that I've earned your subscription on here. Now, if you notice this current week, we're coming into a holiday weekend. There is going to be a very light structure as far as what videos we're out for the next 2 weeks until we get back into June. Taking that little time to clear our minds. We did, if you notice the beginning clip on there, we did have a death in the family. My little one, who has been a muse to me, one of the two that have been a very good muse to me when we're doing these shows. I'm going to miss her so much on there, but we're not going to go too much into that. But once again, thank you for those, and thank you for those who have already seen the posts that we've done on some of our social media platforms and have given their condolences. So, from Al Jazeera, Thailand's cannabis sellers say U.S. growers are eating their lunch. This is right. Here is a situation where we're shipping right back into Thailand, into East Asia. There was a time and a place, God, when I was a kid, that we had to worry about places like Thailand, the East Asia theater, especially after Vietnam, where a lot of drugs got funneled in. Supposedly the word was, the CIA or whoever it was funneled drugs back into the United States at the time, and now I guess we're shipping it right back to them. Let's read into this. Nearly a year after Thailand's decriminalization of cannabis, amid promises of an economic bonanza, Thai growers and sellers say they are being undercut by illegal imports from the United States that sell for a fraction of the price of homegrown buds. Why does that sound familiar? It's the same situation that's happening here. It's legal in our country. Well, it's legal in certain cities, but they're being undercut by illegal growers. Let's continue on this. Thailand struck cannabis from its list of banned narcotics, which I have another article in a minute here. That's going to change. In June of 2022, after a high-profile campaign by Health Minister, sorry if I pronounce this wrong, Anuti Shanenvirakul, is to establish the kingdom as a global hub for cannabis for medical purposes. But Thailand's parliament has yet to pass the long-awaited cannabis bill, leaving the regulatory framework for the industry in limbo. Local businesses say foreign money is filling the gap, with many dispensaries across the country pushing low-cost cannabis imported illegally from the United States. It's illegal to import marijuana into the country. Even though it's legal, it's illegal to import it. Okay? Foreign brokers are approaching local dispensaries to hawk cheap, smuggled weed that is untaxed and then sold to 2 to 5 times its original price, according to local cannabis entrepreneurs. A decent local grown strain goes for about $9 per gram, which is about 300 bahts, but imports are only 150 to 180 bahts, which is 450 to $5.30 per gram. Praja Aruk, a cannabis entrepreneur with several licensed dispensaries in Bangkok, told Al Jazeera, "Each day we have brokers, both Thais and other nationalities. This is definitely a multinational business coming into our shops to try to sell us imported weed, but we turn them down." Praja said the brokers have told them that the product is smuggled in furniture and in fruit or vegetable containers, so when customs scan, they can't tell it's weed. Under Thai law, recreational cannabis use is still theoretically illegal. However, enforcement is patchy, and cannabis shops stalls are found on practically every other street corner in Thailand's major towns and cities. What does that sound familiar? It sounds like New York. As tourists flood into Thailand to enjoy relaxed atmospheres toward recreational cannabis use, Praja worries that the Thai business are missing out on the booming demand. At the end of the day, many customers care more about the potency of the THC content rather than the origin of the weed, he said, saying the U.S. strains can be higher in THC. Listen to what that just said. The U.S. strains can be higher in THC. The compound gives cannabis users the high than homegrown strains. So we're knowing that cannabis outside the United States, in Thailand, that are being grown is not as strong as U.S. growers. Put that in your pipe. Think about that for a minute. They have been increasing the strength of THC in the United States for quite some time. Meanwhile, outside the United States, they are not. Now, we're speaking in the sense of Thailand at this point. How many other countries are in that same result? We need to protect domestic market and support Thai growers and farmers. The Bujajin Party, which paused decriminalization, blames corrupt officials for the flood of illegal imports. Same here. And political opportunism ahead of the general election on Sunday for the negative headlines about cannabis reform. There is already a law in place to deal with illegal imports, but the people supposed to have been in charge failed to enforce it, namely officials from the customs and agricultural departments. Supacha Jamuti, a Bujaji Party member leading the defense of the reforms, told Al Jazeera. But in the long term, we need to pass a Cannabis Act so there'll be a specific law to tackle a specific issue of weed smuggling. Superchat noted that the Thai Chambers of Commerce estimated that the cannabis industry last year generated about 4 billion baht, so that's $1.2 billion for the local economy. But I think it's fair to say it's really in the hundreds of billions baht, he added. But for many other local players competing with foreign money, the economic benefits are hard to see. One veteran cannabis dealer turned legal entrepreneur said he invested heavily in making his own soil and fertilizer, only to find that his cannabis is too expensive for the market filled with cheap imports. Many Thai growers have turned to cannabis horticulture, trying to master their skills. Squid Rolling Record, who has used an alias over his long career selling cannabis, told Al Jazeera. But the Thai market has been flooded with cheap illegal imports with the help of corrupt Thai officials. They demand for imported flowers so high right now. The Bujan Party big promises have predicted been falling flat, with big money from the U.S., the Netherlands, Canada dashing their hopes of a booming domestic industry, according to a veteran cannabis advocate, Chotwan Kitty Chopa. Unfortunately, the corruption and nepotism tends to be the obstacles. It's quite sad to see people who are supposed to be for unable to get into the market, she added. This disappoints the compound as well. Publicized raids on street stalls, which hit the bottom of the food chain and the big players who have distorted the market. Many shops right now are foreign-owned, leaving those with no access to capital in selling on the sidewalk. It just turns out to be just another fight between greedy men. And that's what it was going to be. You know, it's funny. You look to the situation that they're seeing problems. They're seeing major problems in Thailand. And it's the same problems we have here. And the thing about it is, U.S. illegal growers are shipping overseas to cause even bigger problems. Now, the other half of this story in Thailand is that the legalization is not going to last. It's going to be reversed very soon. And according to this article out of Forbes, Thailand's election results may reverse the cannabis policy, and I'll just read the highlights of it. The winners of the election may reverse the recent policy made Thailand's the first Asian country to decriminalize recreational cannabis. Thai voters have delivered a surprising, stunning verdict in favor of an opposition party that advocates for the signet institution and reforms in the country. However, the winning parties may reverse the current cannabis policy, which has resulted into the unregulated market and has faced criticism from many parts of society. But the election's results may not be good for Thai cannabis enthusiasts and pro-legalization activists. After becoming the first Southeast Asian to legalize medical cannabis in 2018, Thailand decriminalization recreational cannabis last year by allowing to grow cannabis plants at home for personal use after notifying the local government and removing the cannabis plants from the Category 5 list of controlled drugs. But since the decriminalization took effect, the sale of cannabis products has spread across the country, becoming a divided political issue, as of those opposed to the policy are worried that the negative impact of recreational cannabis use on Thai society. You can see another country is worried about the situation that is going on. There's more toward this article. I do recommend you guys to check it out. It's by Forbes. It's as I said, it's Thailand's election result may reverse the cannabis policy, but do check that out. It's an interesting read, and you heard the Al Jazeera one, but overall, here's our situation, and I keep saying this. I'm against for recreational cannabis. I will always be that way because basically, we are learning to this day more and more. There's more and more research being done on the effects of a high level of THC in cannabis in our youths. And I've always said that basically we don't know what effects that they're happening. We already had a change because someone had wrote in the go, well, I've been seeing that it's okay to give it to dogs. No, that has changed. From 2018 on, there's been research from veterinarian associations and people in the veterinary business that's been doing research on this, and they've changed their tune. Whereas it is a danger. It's almost a poison to dogs. Especially now at this level where we at with THC. And I know some people say, well, I grow my own, stuff like that. Do you have it at the same level, at the 30%, 40% level that they're selling it out on the streets? I don't know. I really don't know. And if your dog hasn't had a seizure by now or something like that, the strength level may not be to that level, or you're just saying it on there for the hell of it. And for those of you who have doubted the science of the situation and make fun of that, it's not only the science, it is the evidence that is out there in emergency rooms today, whether it's veterinarian emergency rooms or regular human emergency rooms. We have people and animals being brought in on a daily basis. Every year we get new evidence, we get new information. And this is why I said something like this should have been investigated for a long time, should have been a lot of investment into research on this. And this is the reason why fentanyl got to the way it was, because they didn't do the research properly on a lot of these opioid painkillers and stuff like that, and it became a danger. They were handing them out like Pez candy, and now it has become a danger to society. Doctors were handing out painkillers like crazy, and now look where we are now today. So tell me in the comments below, what do you think of that? And I know I do have people in the Asian theater market area there that do watch this show. What are your thoughts about it if you are from that area? Also, from other areas around the world, I do like to hear your voices, which is very important. This is the reason why the mainstream media is attacking us, because we are giving you guys a voice on all of our videos on here, whether it's me or any other content creator out there. So very important on there. Also, don't forget to hit that like, share this video, because it's very important that there are those out there, because you're not going to hear this in the mainstream media. They're not going to be talking about this on the mainstream media. Only we here as content creators, online independent media, independent programming, this is what we are discussing these days on there. I tried to give you a nice injection of other stories that are around that, even a lot of content creators aren't talking about either. We try to do the search. That's why sometimes we don't have that many videos in a weekday, because we're doing all this research on there. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe, because I hope today's the day I've earned your subscription on this situation and many other stories on there. So thanks again for clicking on this video. And if, depending on when you saw this, hopefully you have a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.